Coming up on today's Daily Clone, the classroom connection between Tamin Lipsey and Rocco Becht. Plus, it's a Cyclone State for the 17th time in 20 years. And then I rank Iowa State's remaining games, toughest to easiest. All of that after a word from one of our sponsors.
The Neil Diamond Musical, A Beautiful Noise, the uplifting true story, featuring all the songs you love from his Grammy Award-winning career. October 21st through 26th at Des Moines Civic Center. On sale at dmpa.org.
Hello and welcome into the Northwest Bank Studios for the Daily Clone here on a Thursday, the final Daily Clone of the bye week. If you were to poll the Iowa State fan base on who the biggest fan favorites are, I'd be willing to bet money that the biggest fan favorite in football is Rocco Becht, and in men's basketball, it's Tamin Lipsey. Well, those two have a lot more in common than you think. Here's the full story. What if I told you that Rocco Becht and Tamin Lipsey had more in common than just the number 3? Rocco and Tamin share a class, Comm Studies 3250. That's nonverbal communications. The two sit right next to each other.
I think it's an easy relationship that you can have because, like I said, we're in the same position, just in different sports, and you have a lot of stuff going on around you where it's easy to just talk to somebody who's going through the same thing and have those easy conversations with one another.
These two guys are responsible for leading top 15 teams to big-time goals. But at the end of the day, they're still just normal guys.
I mean, I'm out here watching all his games, and I'm sure he watches some of our games as well, so it's super cool. I mean, we're normal people at the end of the day. Obviously, like you said, people forget that we're students sometimes and got to go to class, but just showing that we're still students and that we're just like everyone else.
Lipsey and Becht aren't just friends, they learn from each other. There's so many similarities between their roles at Hilton Coliseum and Jack Trice Stadium.
We should be able to do the same thing with having similarities like you talked about within basketball and football and a team, bringing them one together because you got to play as a whole. It's not just a single sport like tennis or golf. And so I think having those similarities within the sport really shows we can lean on each other for that leadership.
Oh yeah, there's one more thing they have in common. Rocco wasn't the only one who played quarterback in high school.
I'm sure he's seen a clip or two. I bet it was running the ball. Actually, I probably wasn't passing it, but I might have to show him a little more.
I do hear a lot of stuff that he could have played for us, but I think he's better at basketball.
These are two of the fiercest competitors in Ames, but they don't compete with each other in nonverbal communications.
No, not at all. We're helping each other out, so it's going to be good. We'll be fine.
Rocco and Tamin are definitely two great guys to represent Iowa State. For the 4th season in a row, Iowa State beats Iowa in volleyball. The Cyclones go into Iowa City and beat the Hawkeyes in a 5-set thriller. The Cyclones did get out to a 2-0 lead and eventually prevailed in the 5th set to keep it a Cyclone State for the 17th time in 20 years. On the latest episode of The Beat Reporters, check that out wherever you get your Cyclone Fanatic podcasts. Ben Hutchins, Rob Gray, and I ranked Iowa State's remaining games from toughest to easiest. And first on my list is a no-brainer. It's TCU. Not only are the Horned Frogs the best team on Iowa State's schedule, it's a road game. We don't know how things will look on November 8th, but Rocco Becht against Josh Hoover could have massive Big 12 title implications. This was an easy pick. Up next is Kansas. No team has had more recent success against Matt Campbell than Lance Leipold and the Kansas Jayhawks. KU has won 3 in a row in this series and boasts a prolific offense, once again led by Jalen Daniels. Until Iowa State can overcome the Leipold hurdle, this game will always be towards the top of the toughest list. Arizona State comes in at number 3 for me. The Big 12 title game rematch. This has maybe fallen one spot based off of their loss to Mississippi State, but don't let that fool you. The Sun Devils are still full-fledged contenders. Sam Leavitt is still as dynamic as they come, and they're well coached by Kenny Dillingham. Expect this to be a potential top 25 matchup on the 1st of November. I threw Cincinnati at 4 because winning on the road is always tougher than winning at home, even though ISU technically hasn't lost on the road since 2023. Still, even with that, Cincinnati's no slight. The Bearcats hung in tight in a pseudo-road game against Nebraska to open the season, and Brendan Sorsby is a dynamic running quarterback that gave Iowa State a lot of problems in Ames last year. up to 5, it's BYU. This team is a mystery to me. They fall in this spot by default, coming off of a 10-2 season, and they still have one of the best defenses in the conference. However, I'm still not sold on Bear Bachmeier under center. However, we will learn a ton about them as they play a road game at East Carolina this Saturday. Off a bye, I like this matchup in Ames. Iowa State's next game is next up on this list. Arizona is much improved after a disappointing Big 12 debut in 2024. Noah Fafita is a frisky QB with a dynamic running back at his side and Ishmael Mahdi. This will be a test for the Cyclones, but it could be an even bigger test for the Wildcats in their first road game of the year. All of that in a whiteout under the lights in Ames. Colorado comes in at number 7, and the Buffs are a team on the ropes. Coach Prime has been playing 3 quarterbacks so far this season, and none of them have really worked. The atmosphere, the altitude in Boulder will provide a big challenge, but this is a game that Iowa State should win regardless. And the final game on my list is the final game of the season, and what could be the last game of Mike Gundy's legendary career. It could also be the biggest advantage we've ever seen Iowa State have over the Pokes. Oklahoma State is behind in NIL, and their roster shows that. This game could have massive, massive implications for Iowa State. They'll have a challenge in a series that is seemingly always close. Well, folks, we made it through the bye week right here on the Daily Clone. If you could, I've got 3 requests for you guys. Number 1, go enjoy some football this weekend. It is a perfect weekend to sit on your couch and do nothing but watch college football. Number 2, would you please go to CycloneFanaticsShop.com. Check out our whiteout gear. If you don't have any white Iowa State gear for the whiteout next weekend, CycloneFanaticsShop.com is your place to do it. And order by the end of this weekend to make sure that it's here before the Arizona game. And number 3, would you please come back next week on Monday? We'll have all of our normal Arizona prep. And while you're there, if you could like and subscribe, that would be incredible. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Clone here in the Northwest Bank Studios.